We will continue to work with impartiality to ensure that every woman and girl, every man and boy in Zambia enjoys their full spectrum of human rights, free from violence, free from discrimination, and free from exclusion. Let us remain the sentinels our democracy requires. And allow me to say that I wish you all a very inspiring conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. As the permanent secretary, Madam Mainga Kavika prepares to come forth, I just wish to make one announcement. Just a reminder for the program, please scan the QR code just in front of your ID badge. That is where the program is. We have gone technology-wise. So please just scan there, the program is there. And secondly, I also wish to acknowledge the presence in our midst of our Law Association of Zambia president, Mr. Lungizan Zulu. You're welcome, sir. Equally, I think I've seen the DIG from police. Is that the position? Yes, thank you very much. You're welcome, DIG. We're happy to have you here. All right, so we go back. Madam PS, you can take up the podium.
My lady, the Justice, Madam Mariana Kawimbe. Allow me first of all to say this is one wing of government that makes me proud, makes gender division proud, the office of the president very proud, because this is the only wing that is actually leading in women being at a high level in decision making positions. You are actually at over 60%. Even as I report at the UN level, I'm always very proud of this particular wing. The guest of honor, the Attorney General, the Director of Public Prosecution, Mr. Gilbert Piri, all cooperating partners present, civil society, and of course, all the important people in front of me. Allow me to write on the protocols already established. It is both an honor and privilege to address this distinguished gathering at the National Annual Prosecutors Conference. Allow me from the onset to commend the National Prosecution Authority under the leadership of the DPP, Mr. Gilbert Piri, for convening this conference, very important forum, which has continued to provide a vital platform for dialogue, collaboration, and professional exchange among the justice sector actors. The theme for this year's conference, Prosecutors and Sentinels of the Democracy, Ensuring Inclusivity, Electoral Integrity, and the Rule of Law, could not have come at a more appropriate time. As Zambia, we prepare for 2026 general election, the theme highlights the indispensable role prosecutors play in safeguarding democratic governance and ensuring that the rule of law remains the cornerstone of the democratic process. Democracy is sustained not only through elections, but through institutions that uphold justice, protect human rights, and guarantee equal protection under the law for all citizens, regardless of the sex, status, or background. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, has ensured that his governance system reforms and creates policies that respond to people's needs. For the longest periods, civil society organizations have cried out that there are few women in decision-making positions. Women have also complained of not being considered in women's decision-making positions, appointments. The youth, on the other hand, and persons living with disabilities have been feeling left out. It is against this background that the Bill 7 was sentenced into law in December 2025. The recent Constitution of Zambia Amendment Act number 13 of 2025 provides an important opportunity, strengthen inclusive governance, and attaining gender parity, gender equality, as well as gender equity. As we move forward, collaboration with institutions such as the Electoral Commission of Zambia will remain essential in ensuring accessible electoral processes and enhancing community legal awareness programs by women, youth, and persons living with disabilities. The election process is a fundamental pillar for democratic governance. When citizens exercise their rights to vote, contest on leadership positions, or participate in civic activities, they are actively shaping the future of the country. It is therefore imperative that the processes are protected from being violated and manipulated to avoid undermining the integrity of the whole process. Allow me to highlight a few statistics which demonstrate why strengthening inclusive participation in elections remain a national priority. During the 2021 elections, women constituted more than 53% of registered voters in Zambia, making them the majority of the electorate. Despite this significant participation as voters, women remain underrepresented in political leadership, currently women occupying approximately 15% of the seats of the National Assembly, while representation at local level remains extremely low at below 10%. These statistics clearly demonstrate that although women actively participate in elections as voters, significant barriers continue to limit their representation in leadership and decision-making positions. Distinguished participants, one of the most critical barriers to women's political participation is violence against women during elections. This violence is not limited to campaign periods or elections day alone. In many instances, it begins earlier in the electoral cycle, particularly during the political party adoption stage, where candidates seek endorsement to contest elections. At this stage, women aspiring for political office often face systematic barriers within party structures that remain largely dominated by male. Reports from various electoral cycles have highlighted disturbing practices where some women are subjected to intimidation, humiliation, and extreme cases where sexual violence and sexual exploitation or coercion in exchange for political support or adoption as candidates. Others encounter financial manipulation, deliberate exclusion from party processes, or threats aimed at facing them or making them withdraw from the race. When such practices occur, they not only violate the dignity and rights of women, but also undermine the credibility of political institutions and discourage capable women from pursuing leadership positions. As the permanent secretary in charge of gender division, I already have started receiving reports from female aspiring candidates on how various political party officials, and these include chairmen, maybe youth chairmen, and those holding high positions in political parties, ask for favors of sexual kind to exchange for adoption favors. In solidarity, I've actually asked them to make a lot of records in a clever way so that they don't even know that they're being recorded. Because I know that by the time they come to you, you all be saying there isn't enough evidence. But I'm going to appeal to all the female aspiring candidates to ensure that they record all these cases. And DPP, I can confirm to you right now that I'm actually receiving a lot of messages. Some of them are already on record through their SMSs, through their WhatsApp. They're reporting DPP that they're already being asked for sexual favors in exchange of adoptions. And this is unacceptable. Beyond the adoption stage, violation against women in politics continue to manifest during campaign period and throughout the electoral process when women frequently experience physical intimidation at rallies, verbal abuse, physical harassment, cyberbullying, and deliberate spread of misinformation intended to discriminate them and to character assassinate them and silence their voices. This too is unacceptable. Such acts not only undermine the rights of women, but also weaken the democratic system by limiting the diversity of voices participating in governance. When women are intimidated or discouraged from participating in elections and democratic principle of equal participation, participation is usually compromised. Ladies and gentlemen, the government, under the able leadership of Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, the President of the Republic of Zambia, remains firmly committed to addressing these challenges through strong legal policy frameworks. However, the existence of law alone is not enough. Therefore, effectiveness ultimately depends on consistency and enforcement by the willing institutions such as yours. I am therefore requesting that you develop some guidelines to help expedite investigations for political violence, including sexual violence during the election cycle, to enable the victim receive justice within the shortest period of time to avoid disturbing their campaign process. Strengthening the capacity of prosecutors to address all forms of political violence, including technology-facilitated gender-based violence, will therefore be essential to ensuring that the technological advances support rather than undermine democratic participation and elections transparency. Safeguarding democracy is a shared responsibility that requires close collaboration among institutions such as the National Prosecution Authority, the Judiciary, the Electoral Commission of Zambia, the law enforcement agencies, and other stakeholders. DPP, guest of honor, I'm therefore proposing that we need to have a replica of a C5 team. And all the institutions presented here today needs to be a part of that. Why I'm saying so is because we are only going to have 3 months for elections during the campaign periods. And this is the time when the elections violence are going to be at the height. And in 3 months, if somebody reports a case, we have seen cases going beyond a year. So by the time they're getting their justice, it will be too late. If we create a C5 replica of a GBV electoral team, that will be a kind of a fast track to ensure that they fast track such cases, I think it will be very helpful for female candidates. I'm sure you also that 2 weeks ago, barely 2 weeks ago, I hosted in this same room over 500 aspiring candidates, and those were just a fraction. We have over 2,000 female aspiring candidates who are going to participate in this year's election. And this is our hope. This is the only time that we have to ensure that we meet the agenda the UN Agenda 2030 parity that we have all been assigned to as member states at the UN. As I conclude, guests of honor, allow me to state that prosecutors, you are indeed the democracy sentinels. Your work reinforces peace, equality, and justice. And on behalf of the government, I reaffirm our commitment to supporting an inclusive, independent, and accountable justice system that advances gender equality and leaves no one behind. May your work continue to safeguard democracy, uphold dignity, and secure the rule of law and the future of this country. I thank you all.
Thank you very much, Madam Pierce. Thank you very much. I now call upon the representative of the Electoral Commission of Zambia chairperson, Madam Clementina Mwelwa, to make her remarks.
Good morning. Please allow me to ride on the protocols already observed by the previous speakers. I'm sitting in for my chairperson, who is away on duty, having the delimitation sittings in Kasama district this morning. It is my honor to have been invited to this important conference, namely the annual Prosecutors Conference. This conference has been running for the 3 years, and this is the fourth one, and I wish to congratulate the National Prosecution Authority for sustaining this conference. This conference has been running for 3 years, and this is the fourth one. And I wish to congratulate the National Prosecution Authority for sustaining this conference, as it allows prosecutors to continually be updated on the emerging issues pertaining to the efficiency, management of prosecution of cases, and also to share peer-to-peer experience on prosecution matters. I must mention that this being an election year, this conference plays a critical role in the preparation of the 2026 general election with regard to election dispute resolutions pertaining to electoral offenses and the management of electoral complaints. The Electoral Commission of Zambia is established under Article 229 of the Constitution of Zambia, Amendment Act number 2 of 2016. In accordance with the Article 2292 of the Constitution of Zambia, the Commission has the mandate to carry out the following functions: implement the electoral process, conduct elections and referenda, register voters, settle minor disputes as prescribed, regulate the conduct of voters and candidates, accredit observers and election agents as prescribed, delimit election boundaries, and to perform such other functions as prescribed. Article 45 of the Constitution of Zambia, under the principles of electoral systems and processes, states that the electoral process and systems of administering elections shall ensure independence, accountability, efficiency, and transparency of the electoral process. These principles are cardinal in upholding credible elections, thus ensuring the integrity of the electoral process. The 2026 general election roadmap has been shared, with the public so as stakeholders who have the electoral process can be aware of the key milestones before 13th August 2026, which is a constitutional date of the general election. This is to endeavor that no citizen is left behind in this national process. Where the tenets of credible elections are adhered to, public confidence is built in the justice system. The Commission notes that where the citizenry feel that the electoral process is credible, there is acceptance of the outcome of the process, which process creates a foundation for an acceptable process of dispute resolution. In this case, it is the prosecution of election offenses. The citizenry need to feel they are fairly being prosecuted, especially for competitive processes such as an election. As indicated above, among the constitutional functions of the Commission is to conduct elections. Article 45 2E of the Constitution of Zambia states that the electoral process and system of administering election shall ensure timely resolution of electoral disputes. The Constitution of Zambia has set strict timelines for the conduct of elections and the time when election petitions can be heard for both presidential, National Assembly, and local government elections. However, no timelines have been set for the hearing and determination of electoral offenses. Effectively administering elections has an impact on the timely investigation and prosecution of cases. Keeping proper records of proceedings during by-elections, nominations, campaign periods, and the polls is cardinal for proper investigations and prosecutions of election offenses. Custody of the relevant records to investigate is also key, and the Commission is mandated to keep these records for a specified period before these records can be disposed of. Further, the Commission is cognizant of the duty to avail personal data during investigations and trials. It is key that we sensitize the public on the need for early reporting of electoral offenses so that the Commission can be part of the voter education programs and sensitization of the voters for the electoral offenses and on the need to report such offenses. As earlier alluded to, preservation and custody of evidence is important. As part of the preservation of evidence, the Commission does not open the marked ballot papers on its own motion, but only on the court order. These envelopes are sealed, and it's only the court that can order the marked ballot papers to be opened, and this is to protect the secrecy of the ballot. As the Commission is not an investigative body, it relies on the Zambia Police Service and other law enforcement bodies to investigate alleged electoral offenses such as fraud, voter intimidation, or campaign violations. The nexus to timely investigations and prosecution of electoral offenses is important. The nexus to timely investigations and prosecution of electoral offenses is the importance of coordinated engagement between election management bodies such as the Commission and the prosecution authorities in the case of National Prosecuting Authority in preventing and responding to electoral malpractices. This engagement is critical to the integrity, security, and legitimacy of democratic elections. This collaboration ensures that there is enforcement of electoral laws and that electoral offences are effectively investigated and prosecuted. This can serve as a deterrent to would-be offenders. In addition, for those found wanting, this would serve as a reformatory process so that there is order in the electoral management process, and also for the citizens as they exercise their right to know where their rights begin and where their rights end, so that they do not violate other people's rights. Regulation number 11 of the Electoral Code of Conduct empowers the Commission to, report a breach of the Electoral Code of Conduct to the Zambia Police Service, Anti-Corruption Commission, and Drug Enforcement Commission, or any other law enforcement agency. In addition, the Commission may impose any administrative measures of any person, candidate, or political party for breach of the Electoral Code of Conduct. This is cardinal in complementing the criminal enforcement of the Code of Conduct. This concerted effort by the Commission and the enforcement agencies enhance compliance to election and electoral laws. Further, close collaboration is essential for proactive election security planning and information sharing to prevent electoral violence before it occurs. Close collaboration also ensures that the Commission and the National Prosecution Authority share information to ensure electoral justice. Preventive intervention to support prosecutional intervention in electoral violence cases is also key in dispensing justice. This is done because in some instances, electoral violence may lead to injuries and even loss of life. Though the perpetrators may be prosecuted, but the victim may experience irreversible harm. That's the role of preventive electoral governance being important. The Commission has voter awareness information speaking against violence, especially against marginalized groups such as women, youths, persons with disabilities, etc. The Commission has come up with voter education strategies against violence on women in politics. Further, the Commission encourages the youth to productively participate in politics and not to be used as negative tools in the democratic processes so that they make a positive contribution to society. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commission under Article 113 of the Electoral Process Act has been mandated to establish district conflict management committees. The Commission has established district conflict management committees in all the 116 districts across the country. The committees use alternative dispute resolutions, in particular mediation, to resolve minor electoral disputes. This serves to decongest the courts from being flooded with minor electoral disputes. These committees also refer criminal cases to law enforcement agencies so that they can accordingly be prosecuted. One of the emerging issues the Commission has noted is the digitalization of process. The Commission has digitalized some of its processes, such as biometric usage of capturing voters' details, the use of voter verification devices, and the electronic transmission of results. Digitalization enhances the effective conduct of managing elections. For instance, biometric capturing of voters reduces the time frame of capturing eligible voters' details, and the electoral results transmission reduces the time in which results may be announced. As an electoral management body and prosecution authorities, we implore that we use digitalization to ensure our operational efficiency. However, it must be mentioned that digitalization is a coin with two sides. One side is efficiency, the other side is the misinformation and disinformation. Election in an environment where misinformation and disinformation are counterproductive as they create false perceptions and reduce the confidence of the electoral management body and can even endanger people's lives. To preserve the integrity of the electoral process and to guard electoral justice, it is imperative to deal with the misinformation and disinformation in a decisive way in the electoral process. Enforcement of election-related cybercrimes will enhance the legitimacy and credibility of an election. With these few words, I wish all of you a productive time at this conference and the continued collaboration of the National Prosecution Authority as well as all relevant institutions as we address electoral offenses. I thank you.
Thank you very much for those remarks. Gets to the close of the opening ceremony. Allow me to call upon the dance group to sing a very short song as we prepare to listen to the leader of the Zambian bar, the Attorney General. Thank you, 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 thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. When they beat the drums, it is irresistible. Sometimes you even fail to stop drumming yourself. Even when they say thank you, they'll keep on drumming. That is what drums can do. At this juncture, allow me to invite the learned Attorney General to come and give his speech.
Thank you very much. When the dancing ladies and gentlemen were doing their do, they took me back to the time I was young. Kabwata Cultural Village. We used to go there as young. And when I was in grade 3, after watching the Mkandawires, that time dancing Bimbuza, when I went back to the village, I decided to stop school and formed my own cultural dance. And I stopped going to school, but the people were drumming and dancing. I encouraged them to continue going to school. And on Independence Day, we went there to dance, and my team won. But the deputy head, Mr. Nkata, went to tell my father that I had stopped school. And then my father traced us, found us rehearsing in the bush. And all the drums we had made, my father forced me to burn them. And even finding myself as Attorney General now, but the background was that I did law so that I could sue my father for terminating my party career of dancing. Now, I think we have been sitting for too long. Can we just stand up a bit? Yeah, better. Yeah, just stretch yourself. It was too much. Thank you. You can now sit. And we appreciate that this conference, I think the core issue is to look at the elections. And PS Kavika was talking about some leaders who are already being enticed to seek for bottom power for their adoptions. And as they were dancing here, I saw the gentleman who was playing cocktail arrangement, basically trying to propose using the dancing. And Bako, we appreciate that you had to Sowela, prosecutors, don't be mean with your money. You should have Sowela. And Margaret Chitundu, that putting the money at the back, I don't know whether it's not indecent assault. Thank you very much. My lady, Madam Justice Maria Kawimbe, the judge of the Constitutional Court, but also in charge of how we move with the election petitions, basically the electoral process, the electoral crimes. She's the one who is in charge. We appreciate that you are here. The learned Director of Public Prosecutions, Mr. Gilbert Piri, State Counsel, distinguished members of the judiciary, if they are here, and I've seen the Director General of Anti-Corruption. We appreciate. I've seen also Deputy Inspector General of Police, Charity Munganga, we appreciate you are here. We appreciate the ambassadors that are here. We also appreciate the international guests that are here. I see my friend here from Ireland. We appreciate. And our colleague from the UN, we appreciate. Deputy DPP Kenya, they call them secretaries there. We appreciate that we are here. All these international guests who have come to assist us here, we really appreciate our Save the Child. We appreciate. You should have talked more of children being asked to go and insult people as they are in the electoral field. Children used to go and make vulgar statements about certain candidates. And unfortunately, we just condemn the children. And because some of those children, the law does not allow us to arrest them, we don't follow. Inspector General of Police, we must follow who has sent them. And so please take note of that. I also want to thank my friends, the prosecutors. Please don't drop the ball. If you look in the past, people who are not Zambians can come here and talk about democratic space. But you who are Zambians, don't forget where we have come from. As prosecutors, you know how it used to be. Other people in the political field could be beaten, but when they go to report, the victims were the ones who were being brought to court for prosecution. You know it. Don't drop the ball. Don't relax. Now that we have had by-elections for the past 4 years, we haven't heard of anyone being killed at those by-elections. In the past, that was the order of the day. Should not forget these things. Livingstone, Musonda, Lawrence Banda. Don't forget those things. Mutapa in Mutendere, Menyani Zulu. Don't forget those things. But that doesn't mean you have to relax. Just make sure that people are prosecuted. And also it's important that when matters are taken to court, they are dealt with expeditiously. I'm saying these things because the DPP has encouraged us not just to make speeches, but to interact. And we can only interact by remembering where we have come from. It is a great honor and privilege for me to stand before you today and address such a distinguished audience comprising of over 500 prosecutors drawn from across Zambia and the continent of Africa. Today at the 4th National Annual Conference, Prosecutions Conference, your presence here is a testament to our shared commitment to advancing justice and upholding the rule of law. Distinguished guests, and also my colleagues, the media, we appreciate because you take the information to those who are not here. They will be able to hear what we are saying at this conference. My colleagues, the theme for this year's conference, which states prosecutors as sentinels of democracy, ensuring inclusivity, electoral integrity, and the rule of law, is both timely and appropriate, especially for our country as we head towards general elections this year. This theme puts you as the soldiers on guard to guard against violation of our democratic space. People should be free to campaign the way they want without being interfered with. And when matters of electoral malpractice, electoral mischief has been reported to the police or law enforcement agencies, we as prosecutors, we must expeditiously make sure that the matter is prosecuted. Democracy does not end with the right of citizens to vote. It goes further to place responsibility on our institutions to protect the rule of law, especially during the elections period. This responsibility does not spare the prosecutors, and your responsibility as prosecutors is to serve as guardians of democracy, ensuring that the law during the election period is applied impartially, without fear or favor. In this regard, your evolving role as prosecutors is to keep abreast with emerging trends in crimes such as financial crimes, but also to address the challenges that may arise during elections. My colleagues, among the most pressing challenges faced by democracies across the world today as we head towards elections is the rise of hate speech. I'm sure we all know what hate speech is. For you who are Zambians, you know how these politicians speak bad things, things which are not true about their opponents. So be vigilant as these hate speeches are being given. The digital and social media platforms, they will go awash with lies. They will put people in coffins and they will be posted on the social media that they have died. They are not proceeding with the elections. And so be on the lookout for these things. Hate speech in particular has the capacity to divide communities, target vulnerable groups, and erode public confidence in democratic processes. No Zambian can pretend that they have not heard hate speech. We all know what it is. We all know what the politicians do. Therefore, it is imperative that our legal and justice institutions remain alert, vigilant, and committed to collaboration. Through shared knowledge, mutual support, and coordinated strategies, we can strengthen our collective response to these challenges and ensure that our electoral processes remain peaceful, credible, and above all, lawful. Ladies and gentlemen, in ensuring that our electoral processes remain peaceful and credible, prosecutors stand at the front line of the justice system and bear the responsibility of ensuring that offenses which threaten democracy and public order are dealt with promptly and fairly. My colleagues, I wish to issue a clear call to action to all prosecutors, the responsibility placed upon you is not merely procedural. It is a constitutional and moral duty to defend justice and democracy. I therefore challenge you to rise to this responsibility by ensuring that the swift, fair, and impartial prosecution of offenses involving hate speech, incitement to violence, and electoral misconduct are done expeditiously. You must work closely and effectively with law enforcement agencies in identifying, investigating, and prosecuting conduct that threatens peaceful and credible elections. At the same time, you are called upon to uphold the constitutional guarantees of freedom of expression while remaining vigilant that such freedoms are not abused to promote hatred, discrimination, or violence. You have heard how people who have issued the hate speeches, when they are taken to court, to them it becomes political. But we encourage you to be fair even as you decide to prosecute. I further challenge you to continue promoting consistency, professionalism, and integrity in the application of the law. My friends, as government, we reaffirm our commitment to supporting a professional, independent, and well-resourced prosecution service that is capable of responding effectively to the challenges of modern democracy. As we continue to strengthen our institutions, let us remain united in our shared responsibility to protect the rule of law, promote peaceful electoral processes, and safeguard the democratic values upon which our nation is built. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to say I'm so grateful. I thank you for your dedication to the administration of justice, and I wish you fruitful deliberations during the conference. Interact, talk about it openly. You are prosecutors. Share ideas, how you are going to deal with the issue of electoral incidences that will come to your desks, that you come for you to take to the courts for prosecutions. We want to encourage you as government that when matters of electoral incidences, which are criminal, come to your attention, take them to court expeditiously. Some of them you find they have been committed, the offenses have been committed by candidates. So it's only fair that you take the matter as quickly as possible so that that candidate can continue to stand if they are acquitted. Otherwise, if you delay, you are disadvantaging that candidate because people will be campaigning to say, even if you vote for this person, at the end of the day, you might have a by-election because the person will be convicted. So please, let us be conscious of the speed at which these matters can see the inside of the court. I wish you God's guidance, and I wish you peaceful deliberations as we enjoy this conference. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Leonard Attorney General. And on behalf of the delegates, I wish to undertake that we will interact, introspect, and learn from one another as we mingle for the next 3 days. At this juncture, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we will want to keep a record of this event via a photo or photos that will be taken. So I'll ask the high table as they follow the usher to go outside. We're at the staircase where we can have a photo taken. The high table will go together with all the distinguished guests that are seated on the first rows on both sides. I ask my lady and the Attorney General and the DPP and everyone else to be ushered outside. Thank you. Whilst our distinguished guests are going outside, all of us, where our tea is ready outside, so we'll take this opportunity to have our tea break and resume at 11 hours. But we wait.
Yani sikinde, moyo uyothukumisa. Impilo yami simile. Wena uthe uzongithanda kodwa usala ngami lahle kugcine. Angifuna ngisibe. Ngala ngizulume. Darling, uyayibona inkinga. Bona inkinga. Sayithathele imoto, sayithathele ikhoko, mina ngiseseluthi. Sethola abangcono, sayithandele imoto, sayithathele ikhoko, mina ngiseseluthi. Sir? Regine, Nilegedaba, Masigelame, Silibale, Isintoza Gudala. I said I miss you. I really miss you. So sorry, not sure. I'm taking it back. Sometimes I'm not. I'm sorry, I'm taking it back. Oh my God. I'm so sorry now. If we call it, I'm begging you. Just baby. Sometimes I'm not. But you sama. Bella, Bella, I have to buy Bella, Bella, why is that thing so funny? That
Ladies and gentlemen, let's set up. Let's get back. Let's get back. It's past 11 now. Ushers, ask the people who are outside to come in. You're supposed to get it from there. No, I was first 15 minutes from that. Yeah. But then you're supposed to get it from this is the thing. Vivian, kindly come through. PRL. Let's settle down. Let's settle down, please. Everyone outside, let's come inside quickly. The first presentation is about to start. Can we get settled? The first presentation is about to start. Let's get settled. Those outside, please quickly get in. Ushers, ask everyone you are seeing outside to come in. We are about to start. Ushers, ask everyone to get in. When the presenter walks in, the doors will be closed. When the presenter gets in, the doors will be closed. Please, get in quickly. Team members, ask people outside to come in quickly.